Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today's card has got some 3D lettering on it. So the greeting is actually kind of stands a little way away from the base of the card. And it gives me an opportunity to share with you again a product called the foam adhesive sheets. And you get 6 of these sheets in a packet and they're about 5 by 5. So there's plenty of adhesive here. And this is actually double-sided. So you're going to be taking the back off of it to show the adhesive. Okay, so let's make a start. My background here is stamped and I'm using my Stamparatus and the Wild Roses background stamp. This is quite a big stamp, as you can see, and you can put it on a block and use it from there, but I find it a lot easier myself to use the Stamparatus. So I've already got my stamp in place, and I'm using smoky slate ink, and I'm just gonna ink up my stamp. Now I find, I don't know if you might be able to just see there. Can you see that there's the kind of a little line there where the edge of the ink pad has hit? So I find that if you just gently tap around after you put the ink, it gets rid of all the little lines and gives you a smooth finish. So there's my ink, and I'm just going to get my piece of card and pop it here, and I've got a tiny piece of magnet. This was a big magnet, only I dropped it and it broke, but because I had like washi tape on it, it literally just broke in half, and it's been quite useful being that small, to be honest. And I'm just going to flip my plate over, and I'm just going to press firmly around the edges as well as in the middle to make sure I get good ink transfer here. And then I'm just gently going to lift it up. There we go. And I can see that I've got a blank spot here and a blank spot here. So I've still got the ink on the stamp. So I'm just going to flop it back over and go back and press firmly where that was. And that's the beauty of the Stamparatus. As long as you don't move the piece of card inside, you can go back and redo. And this one, I'm just going to remove the magnet, making sure I don't move anything else. And I'm just going to go in and press that corner as well. And there I have a lovely even image. And to be honest with you, as that dries, that becomes even prettier colour. I'm going to use a little liquid adhesive to attach it to my piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock. Now, all the dimensions are going to be on my blog, and if you look below this video, you will see a link, and it will take you right to this post. And then I'm going to use some of this really lovely Blackberry Bliss. You can see I'm on my last little bit ribbon, and to be honest with you, I chose the colours for this card based on the ribbon. So that was my starting point. Now I'm just going to make sure it's the right way up, and then pop my piece of ribbon across, and I like to attach it with a little bit of scotch tape, sticky tape, whatever you'd like to call it, and then just make sure it's level, and attach the other side. And I'm going to use my bone folder to just really burnish that down, make sure that it's firmly placed and it's not going to go anywhere. And then I'm just going to add some, since I've got it here, some Stampin' Dimensionals. And as you can see, I've used up the ones in the middle, but the side pieces are just as sticky as any of the hexagonal pieces in the middle. So I'm not going to waste them. I'm going to use those up. Looks like I just need to cut myself one more for the middle. And there we are. Okay, so now we're going to turn to do the letters. So I've got a piece of cardstock, and this is the die that I'm going to be using. So I've cut it the size of my piece of my die, and it comes from the Floral Gallery's die set. This has got like leaves and flowers and labels, but what particularly attracted me is the greeting that says "just want to say," and so I've already attached a piece of the double-sided foam sheet on it, and I'm gonna now just put my die on there. Now I'm gonna just put a little bit of the scotch tape. You could use washi tape, whatever works for you. And I'm just going to put a tiny bit to hold the die in place, because I'm actually going to flip that upside down and I don't want it to move. So here's my cut and die machine. I'm going to be using the big base plate and this one adds the die spacer, and then I've got one plate, clear plate on top. It doesn't look clear because it's well loved. And then I'm going to place this face down on the bottom plate, and I'm going to put another piece on top. Now this is a half a piece. Through lots of use, you can see it's actually well used, and it cracked, and my husband finished breaking it off for me, and it's absolutely perfect for putting over here. So what I'm trying to say is it still works. And then I'm going to crank the whole sandwich through, and you want to crank slowly. There's a lot of thickness for that die to get through, and you need to make sure that the pressure has enough time to cut through. If you sort of whiz it through really fast, it doesn't always work. It doesn't cut. So I can see that my piece here is, you can see that the letters are cut, and the only thing that is actually not cut is the backing sheet. If you just pull it back a little bit, you can actually see that it is in fact cut. So we're done with the cut and emboss machine, and we're going to bring back this piece. So I'm going to remove my die. I find it works if you kind of just wiggle it around a little bit. I'm going to have to take a little bit of extra care where I've used some tape to hold it in place, but you can see how important that piece of tape is in making sure that it doesn't move while it's going through the big shot, through the cut and emboss machine. So let me just ease that off there, set that aside. Now we're going to take these out, and again I just find that if you bend it slightly, and it'll ease the pieces out. They're looking a bit distorted at the minute, but when you come to lay them down, you'll find that you can put them back in the right place again. So it's just a little bit fiddly, but there we go. And I can see that I need to just get rid of the middle of the J. So I'm going to use my pick your tool, the pointy piece on that. There we go. I think push it back through the back. That's going to work better. And now I'm going to lay it down at an angle. And I'm just going to start with the J, and then I can then make sure that sort of everything is sort of lined up and not twisted. There we go. And then there's the little dot for the J. I'm going to pull him out and just pop it down. And then we're going to go back in with the want part. You can see it's coming out really, really easily. And I found that is the best way to make it come out easily, is if you actually put it upside down on your cutting plate, rather than where you would normally kind of put the blades down rather than the blades up. Come on. There we go. See how wonderfully sticky this is. I'm going to get rid of the middle of my A. Gosh, this is really very clingy today. Okay, and then again, being careful, I'm going to set my W to one side of the J, and I'm going to start by just laying the W down first and making sure that it's all back in the right shape. And I'm not pressing very hard at the moment. Okay, just want to say. And there's going to be the 2. And if you roughly follow the layout of the actual die itself, you know, the position and the angle, you'll find that it will go in a lot easier. And then I'm just going to take out that little piece that's on the curly whirly bit of my O. And this time I'm going to lay this down a little bit. It needs to come down a bit further. That's too close. There we go. There we are. And then my last bit. And I'm sure if you wanted to, you could use this piece to sort of be the negative and tidy it up, and you could possibly stick that onto a card as well. There we go. And then of course the middle of this A also needs to come out. And I have a little bit of the Y as well. Now, you could use this same die and just use an adhesive sheet, not the foam sheet, and so that your letters would actually then be flat, but that's just as good. And then we're just going to pop that there, and again you can see I am just gently positioning and straightening everything up so that it's not all convoluted. There we go. I just want to say. And so we're going to take the backing off the dimensionals. So don't forget that link underneath my video. That'll take you to the dimensions so that you can create one of these yourself. My card base is smoky slate, and my final little flourish is a bow, and I'm going to attach that with a glue dot. And it does flap, oh no, it doesn't flap around because of its very sheer ribbon. So there we are. I hope you've enjoyed this this technique and this adhesive. I've really enjoyed sharing it with you. If you've enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.